Have arrested 108 people in a swoop operation in what is described as a major breakthrough in their fight against financial crime. The suspects face criminal charges of human trafficking, money laundering, fraud, and tax evasion. Suspects used fake profiles to lure and defraud the unsuspecting victims. But to expand more on this, I'm now joined in the studio by the head of Department of Computer Science at NAST, that's Edward Nepolo. Mr. Nepolo, good evening and thank you for coming in.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
Well, this arrest was hailed by the public as a major breakthrough, and also police saying that is in their fight against financial crime. But what exactly transpired here, since it has the hallmarks whereby classic pig butchering scheme where you fatten the piglets and then butcher them, but then again in a layman's term, especially from the victim's point of view, what exactly transpired?
Okay, there's a lot of things that could have happened, but the most common ones is that generally the attackers, they would lure victims into investing into what is called cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin or something of that sort. And then once they get somebody to invest, they sort of create fake profiles for them to view how much their investments are worth and stuff like that. And they, of course, convince them to invest even more money and, of course, give them access to the profile to see that, okay, after you've invested this much, your investment is now worth this much. If you invest more money to this value, you can grow your investment to this much. But the problem actually comes in when it's time to withdraw these investments. That's when things start getting a little bit challenging, because they'll come up with all sorts of excuses just to prohibit you from withdrawing the money, because they have actually scammed you. There is no actual investment in it.
So then it sounds like quite a sophisticated operation whereby technology or advanced technology is at play, and then these suspects were able to convince the clients or the unsuspecting victims using phone numbers from the US. So where most of their targets or the entire scheme targeting people is based. So in this case, Mr. Nepolo, would you say that they were capitalizing on the time zones, the different time zones, seeing that it's a 7-hour difference between Namibia and the US?
It could be a myriad of things. Time zone could be one of them, and also the codes of the numbers that they are using. It's much more believable for the people in the country mentioned to believe that what the scammers are putting to the table is true, because if you look at the number coding, they are definitely using American number coding, which is actually very easy, because all they need to do is to take over somebody's cell phones or somebody's number. Like in the report, they mentioned that they're mostly using WhatsApp and Telegram. And those platforms, they don't necessarily have clear verification methods to ensure that when you register a number, that number actually does belong to you. So the one form of verification is that they will send you an OTP to the number that you provide, and once you get access to that OTP, then you can actually make use of that number.
So in this case, you said that WhatsApp and Telegram, it's very difficult because of the unclear verification methods that they use. But then again, if you look at the social media or the other platforms of social media, which is now Facebook, Instagram, and the likes, where these people also created fake profiles. In this case, what then can the victims do to verify that these scams or these activities are actually scams?
Yeah, one of the pointers is that they would try to lure you, they'll try to convince you into making heavy decisions, right? One of the things that they could do is that they would ask you to invest. But when you want to ask questions surrounding, like, okay, how does this investment work and all these kinds of stuff, they'll brush off all these questions and they'll go back to the point of, okay, now how much are you investing, these kinds of stuff. So these are some of the things that people should be careful of. And looking at platforms like Facebook, for example, Facebook was meant to be a social site, obviously for people that you know. The best advice would be rather engage with people that you know, that you have met directly. You can't trust anybody with a profile online. It's very easy these days to create a fake profile.
So, Mr. Nepolo, let me just quote the statement by the police when they were addressing the media, obviously cautioning the public by extension. Once the investment is sufficient, the cryptocurrency is ultimately withdrawn in exchange for cash, thereby pocketing investment. Goes on to say it is thus far, however, detected that there were no investments made and the contributions of the clients were merely stolen from the fake wallets and withdrawn from 2 Bitcoin kiosks in the local shopping malls using PayPal. That also brings in the question of how safe also or how accessible the PayPal is in this regard. So what exactly, if you can just explain to us what exactly happened here?
Okay, in most cases when they ask you to invest money into a certain account, there's various ways in which you can send money to those accounts. PayPal is one of those payment gateways that you can use to make foreign transactions. Yeah. And what we need to understand here is that there is not actually any investment going on. They are basically just asking you to send them money and then display a fake profile to you to say that, okay, you've invested this much. Of course, the money that you've invested is there. They'll display that you've invested 10,000, but they have actually access to that 10,000 now, and it's not yours anymore. But on the profile, it will say that you've invested. Now, they will lure you again to say that if you invest another 10,000, this is how much your investment is going to be worth. So basically, these payment platforms they're basically just enable us to transact money from whichever country that you belong. And one of the things is that I cannot ever overemphasize the importance of SIM card registration, because if SIM cards are not, if you don't register a SIM card, for example, somebody can go to the mobile operators and claim your SIM card on your behalf, and they'll start using it for these kinds of things and all that kind of stuff. So most of these things is merely based on how we secure our mobile numbers.
And you know, USA is one of the countries that have probably the most stringent measures when it comes to registering SIM cards, especially for foreign nationals. You are required to submit all kinds of papers, even just a visiting working official. That also applies. So in this case, how then did they get it right?
There's a lot of ways, but I can mention 2. One of the ways is that there are internet platforms where you can generate numbers from whichever country that you want, and you can make use of those numbers. And like I said, WhatsApp and Telegram, they don't verify whether this number really exists. As long as you can receive an OTP on this number, they are good to go. And another one is that in countries like the US, there's a lot of online transactions going on. Maybe people will order stuff from online, Amazon and all these kinds of stuff. So normally what happens is as a verification to the company that a certain product that was ordered has been delivered to the client. In that, they require the client to hand over an OTP. Right? So I'm delivering this package that you ordered. In return, you should give me an OTP that will come to your phone so that I can put it here as verification that I have ordered.
Like Gmail does.
Yes. However, in that process, they might trick you at the same time to send you an OTP request, maybe coming from WhatsApp, to say that, okay, please verify that this is really your number. And at that time, they're in front of you. Okay, please give us the OTP that comes to your mobile phone as verification that I've delivered. And you see, it's also a balance between innovation and convenience. The new phones, they don't display the whole message. For convenience, they will just extract the OTP to the screen and leave the message behind. So it's very important.
Usually just the 4-digit number.
Yeah. So they'll just say, okay, the OTP is here, and then they'll put it into their WhatsApp. Then by doing that, you have given up your WhatsApp number. And yeah, that's how it works.
So this is as we are getting to the end of our discussion, so this is quite a sophisticated operation which has shocked all of us, coming again from the e-wallet scams to this one. So lately this has been, or it's rearing its ugly head among the tech users or the tech know-how. in this case, just what can we do to take care of ourselves? Because we all want convenience. You said there should be a balance. We all want to sit at home and by the tip of our fingers just receive information and do transactions and the likes. In this scheme, grand scheme of things, how then can we protect ourselves not to fall victim to this type of crime?
Okay, one of the things that you can do is just to verify really if somebody is asking you to do something with immediate agency, like what was happening with the transactions. I sent you money accidentally, please reverse it, all these kinds of stuff. You have to verify. I mean, the banks have processes put in place to make sure that if you send somebody money by accident, you can call the bank and reverse that money. You know, the receiver of the money should not have to do to be involved in this whole transaction. Or you can ask for ID, let's go to the police station and all these kinds of stuff. So, but one of the most important things is education. Okay, you have to make sure that you are aware of what is happening around you and how to identify these kinds of attacks and attempted scams.
All right, then. Well, thank you so much for that comprehensive explanation about this whole syndicate.
Thank you very much, Blanche.
All right, then. Well, that is Edward Nepolo, who is the head of Department of Computer Science at NAST, explaining, just giving a comprehensive explanation, as I said, on the syndicate.